The world exists tomorrow. Now you know why. Jericho.
The dead suffer endless pain as they hang tortured from crucifixes. The Jericho team makes their way through the fields of tortured souls to seek out Cassus Vicus.
I think it's safe to say we're now under Roman rule.
Could be worse. At least the Romans were civilized.
Oh yeah, they were real civil. I mean, besides the crucifixions and the gladiatorial exhibitions, the slavery.
And let's not forget that unfortunate incident with Christ. We are, technically speaking, chaplains.
Oh, you're the historian, Jones. What can you tell us about this place?
Well, if Simone can get me to fix on the year...
First century, sir. 38 AD.
38 AD? Wow, you sure? Never mind, of course you are. That means it's the reign of, let's see...
Caligula.
Yeah. How'd you know that?
Call it a lucky guess.
Let's see. It's the beginning of the fall of the Empire. And this is really far south for the Romans. No man's land, basically. I mean, if I was a Roman centurion and I was sent to garrison Al-Khali, it would have been like...
Exile.
Al-Khali is about as far from Roman law as you can get.
With Emperor Caligula on the throne, I think that's a good thing, don't you?
We need to keep moving. Stick to the road. You keep an eye out for Leech and his men.
As soon as we load the Roman level, we see this big-ass dude with a shield, so we try to sneak up on him and nope, bad idea. These fellas are legionaries, and they know how to use their shields a lot better than other enemies we've come across. Their shields block everything that hits them, including explosions, unless those explosions are aimed at their feet. They actually have fairly low health considering their absolute size, so the challenge here is timing your shots or ability uses to get around the shield. They use javelins as weapons, and they can throw them real fast too, so we've only got a short time to get shots in between their attacks. There are a couple ways to take them down fairly easily, such as a Babanili who can just go behind the shield. Cole can also get behind the shield by using her temporal loop and shooting him in the head.
Fucker.
Eventually we come across a gate that only Delgado's strong, manly arm can lift. We'll come across a couple of those in this level. Behind that, we get into another gauntlet of cultists, both of the exploding and not exploding variety. This one gives us some trouble as the explodey boys spawn very close to where our squad takes cover, which inevitably means some of them are going to go down. Unfortunately, by the time we get them back up, another spawn is all ready to bust, to explode. You can probably avoid this by telling the squad to move back near the gate, but, we didn't. I can't change the past, okay? After that, we take on a couple of legionaries in a slightly smarter fashion by using a Babanili and temporal loop. Right after that, we have another cultist jamboree, but this time the explosive hombres spawn below us and try to come up behind me, but I see you, motherfucker. The other cultists have a long approach, so it's best to let your squad take care of them while you deal with the explosive cultists because your squad won't care. They haven't cared up to this point. They don't get it, alright? They're just gonna keep getting exploded on, and you just have to let it happen. You can't keep letting them bring you down, okay? Part of helping others is realizing when you can't help.
God damn.
Continuing on, we see a lot of cover, and it's our old pal, the Behemoth. This is the last one in the game, and he's no different than the others. Just shoot the runes and don't die. Oh, and yeah, you do have to do a quick time event for this one also. It's the same one as last time. They didn't have time to make another. Alright, round 2, Billy. Let's do that. Okay, just poop out some fire and run away. We typically don't fight these guys in big groups, but obviously when we do, Fire Ward is very useful since it goes right past their shields. After taking care of them, one of the poor souls on the crucifixes starts talking to us.
Clear.
We are here to help you. What's your name?
Mano suas in me ponat id lingua eos dicam.
I think he wants to communicate through Jones.
How do we know he's on our side?
Yeah, fuck that. Don't do it, man.
It's all right. Of course, if it looks like I'm in trouble...
He's toast.
Somebody help him!
No, wait.
You have come for the firstborn, correct?
We have. Who are you?
I am Tertius Longinus. the last of 7 Praetorians sworn to protect the world from the wrath of the Firstborn. Do you seek the secret of the Pyxis?
We do. Tell us what you know.
Hidden here among the guards of the depraved governor Vicus Cassus, we watched as he turned Al-Kali into a carnival of decadence and depravity. The Firstborn had enticed Vicus to open the breach, and while it busied itself with fresh meat, my brothers and I traveled deep into the Pyxis to perform the rites to collapse the breach.
We seek the same knowledge. The breach has been opened again. Tell us what to do.
You realize the price you pay for coming here?
We do.
No! Bullshit! There has to be another way!
The cycle will continue until the Firstborn possesses that which its creator refused to give it. That which mankind takes for granted.
Freedom!
Freedom is merely the absence of chains, just as evil is the absence of love.
I don't understand. If not freedom, what does the Firstborn want? We have nothing to give it.
Then the cycle will continue!
Jones, get out of there! Let go!
How do we break the cycle? What does the Firstborn want?
God damn it! Do something!
Vicus, you seek Vicus! He alone can open the breach that leads to the heart of the Pyxis!
Jones! Break the link! You have to let go!
Where? Where do we find Vicus?
He's dying! Damn you, let him go!
Follow the waters! Find the waters and you find the breach!
Enough already! Don't do anything that stupid again.
That was worse than having Ross in my head. No offense.
I don't see any water around here. What did he mean? An aqueduct, maybe?
I doubt it. The only water you're likely to find out here will be under the ground in a well or...
A bath?
So now we set out on our quest for a bath. Jericho could probably use one of those right now.
You just made the list!
We come across a lot more people being crucified. And yeah, you can shoot them. I always shoot people who are crucified in games if you can't free them. I wonder if I'm the only one. Not that it really matters in the box, but you know, makes me feel better. We come across more legionaries. The best way to take them out as Rawlings is to use his explosive ammo and fire at their feet. But it's far from the quickest or safest method. Soon, flying cultists join the fray, another enemy the Preacher has trouble with. I don't know why we're using them. Here, give me the controller. Mom said it's my turn to play. There are a lot of enemies in our path, but it's also a very large area, so we can take our time as we move through. Eventually, we find an entrance to underground and head through it. The suffering of Tertius Longinus has lasted 3,000 years and will continue for eternity until someone hands him over to the Firstborn. To get to Cassus Vicus, the team must gain passage into the corrupt city through the baths. The Caldarium awaits.
It smells like shit and death in there.
Oh, well, hell, Delgado, that's because there is shit and death in there. This isn't gonna be a good bath, is it? With the way blocked and the only route left to flame, it's up to Delgado to use his fire shield to find a way. That is, if we remember the right hotkey and don't try to summon a Babanili instead. No, if we do that, he's just gonna die. Thankfully, we don't do that and make our way through unscathed. We come across 2 friends hugging the fuck out of each other, but they get mad at us for interrupting. Our anti-friend act causes all the other cultists to try and mend our ways through vigorous hugging. This is the first of several gauntlets we have to run through with Delgado here, and they take a while. Delgado is the best suited to doing this solo because of his health and minigun, but gosh, do a lot of those cultists take baths. 1 gate raised and 1 cultist shot, and we have to use the fire shield again to cross some heated steel beams. And that's the last we'll see of the fire shield for the rest of the game. This gauntlet takes forever. It's only explosive cultists, but there's a lot of them, though only 2 will be out at one time. We just hold down that fire button and pray their weak points are on their front. The next bath section is yet another long gauntlet, this time with both explosive and normal cultists. The normies will spawn up the stairs in the distance, with the explosive cultist popping up down with us. Always go for the explosive cultist first. If you don't, this happens, which only happened because I wanted to make a point, okay? This is a teaching moment. After we're done with that, we move up the stairs, popping the heads of the remaining cultists on our way. Then we turn a corner and, oh, Clive, you rascally devil, you sure got me.
You just made the list!
So yeah, you have to do that whole gauntlet again. Far as I know, the only way to not die there is to have a Babanilli out and shoot it around the corner. Fuck you. Anyway, we pull a lever and thus comes to a close the solo ventures of Frank Delgado. With the team reunited, we fight through a few more cultists before reaching the next area. The decadent culture of the inhabitants has transformed the baths into a repulsive torture chamber. Pools of vomit, baths of blood and excrement complement the torture and sadomasochism. What the fuck, Clive? We come across some more legionaries with their backs turned. Most of our encounters with these enemies start this way, letting us plan a bit more on our approach. I wish more of this game was like this as opposed to just straight up gauntlets, but at least we get what we get. And yeah, that's probably poop. How'd you like to be the guy I told to make the shit bath textures? Eventually we're attacked by flying cultists and more legionaries. This is an annoying duo since they both have shields and can't always be hit, but they aren't too dangerous in wide open areas like this.
Sweet Jesus.
Sweet Jesus indeed. Here we get kinda stuck until we figure out we have to use Jones to clairvoyance ourselves a puzzle. The child appears and we have to jump from it to several legionaries that are patrolling the hallways. It's pretty finicky like all the other clairvoyance puzzles, but eventually we find the right lever. This causes all the legionaries we are looking through to rush in at us. I actually find Jones pretty effective at taking them out in close quarters since one shotgun to the head is usually enough to take them out. As long as they're not focused on you, it's pretty easy to flank them. Getting past those guys, we indulge in some of the lovely decor. We find a large bathtub just like filled with feces, but also cultists who come to help out their big brothers. The area gets more lavish as we move through, and eventually we come to the entrance to a palace. Vicus's luxurious palace lies between the villa and the fortress, designed to the twisted taste of its owner. He has transformed the old temple that was once dedicated to the classical deities into his own personal hell. It's only more legionaries as we travel further in, so we shoot them in the face as best we can. The temple is kind of a nice change of pace since it's actually clean in parts. You know, less blood and shit, less screaming meat. Pretty swanky. Abby starts to get really effective at taking out the legionaries as the areas get bigger. In some parts, she can take them out before they even all aggro, making her the best squad member to start out with through this area. We kill a bunch of legionaries that are pouring out of a set of doors. We hit through after dealing with them and oh, hey big boy. This here is a gladiator. He's big, he's dumb, he's slow, but he hits like a truck and is impervious to all damage from the front. He attacks mainly by just walking up to you and hitting you, but he can also extend his ball arm thing in an actually pretty quick attack. Now the deal here is his back is open, he's got an open back. And having an open back probably hurts if you shoot it. The only way to do damage is to shoot his back, is what I'm saying. By far the easiest way to do this is to switch characters, because once one does shoot his back, that's who he'll fixate on, and the AI isn't smart enough to shoot where they should. The biggest of boys down, we continue on, fighting yet more legionaries. Eventually we come to a standstill very similar to one in the World War II time slice. 4 legionaries throw javelins at us from across a chasm, but killing one just causes another to rush in and take his place. Positioning Jones to clairvoyance himself over there can be a bit awkward here since there isn't much cover he can peek out of and still be safe, but eventually we find a lever to close off reinforcements. No comment. We're not out of the woods yet, as we still need to find a way across the chasm. This calls for a quick time event. No, that didn't happen. Hold on. There you go, flawless. To get the rest of the team across, we have to actually use our ability to command our squad. I know, it's weird. While Billy stands on a floor switch, we have to position Omega and Alpha squads to stand on 2 more on the other side. This extends a bridge and we can continue on.
Let's go.
You got it!
The gardens are lavishly decorated with fountains and statues. The surroundings look impeccably beautiful, but with Vicus's touch of sadism. I hear a friend hug.
Target's in range!
That's the only time I got stealth to work with Billy in this section, so you better appreciate it. Again, Abby is very useful here, as she can one-shot legionaries with a headshot and can use a ghost bullet if one is being particularly frisky.
Get up, guys!
Covering your flank.
Oh, is that what you were doing? After a few skirmishes with legionaries, we come across another Delgado gate.
New guests, have you come to join the feast? There's plenty for all. He's inside my head. Won't you come closer? My eyes have grown so weak over time.
Jesus.
Is that magic I smell amongst you? Why, this isn't another batch of outsiders come to ruin our party, is it? Oh, I love your kind more than any other. The sport is almost as satisfying as the flesh.
I got first dibs on the fat man.
He's all yours. I'm not getting anywhere near him.
And what's this? You bring witches with you too? You honor me. It's been so long since I tasted of both sexes.
Sir? Sir, the construction of this floor, sir.
Let's begin, shall we?
It's a trap, sir!
Vicus has enjoyed literally thousands of years of continuous sexual, gluttonous, and bloody orgies. Ew. And has no intention of it ending now. He'll do all he can to prevent those sent to close the breach and remove his hellish appetite.
Something about this stinks. And for once, it's not me.
Delgado farts. We travel a bit through a tunnel and, oh, this is gonna be an arena segment, isn't it?
I've seen this movie.
No, I don't think so. Not yet. Governor Vicus, we've been sent to release you from this prison. Let us go, so that we can complete our mission and end the nightmare for you. For all of you.
Release me? Release me? Why would I want you to do that? We have found Elysium, have we not? Where we can feast and fucking kill. And find no consequence. We are not prisoners here. This is freedom. Absolute. And you, my welcome visitors, are sport. Let them begin.
It is indeed an arena segment, with the first wave being some flying cultists. We do battle bravely before our endearing audience of 2D sprites representing insane, tortured Romans. After a short skirmish, we find we're blocked by some spikes. Ross lets us know that we just have to stand on some floor tiles like we did before. Apparently, back in the Colosseum, it was a favorite of the Roman citizenry to watch gladiators perform simple switch puzzles.
Thanks.
Look at that shit, I stood in 3 places. I'm so goddamn smart. After we cross, we fight some more flying cultists. You might be wondering why Arnold Leach's cultists are here in such great numbers, and I just have to assume that when Arnold passed through this time slice, he offered them to Vicus in order to satiate his, needs. Whoa, another big boy. This one is called a behemoth? That's as much as I can find. This is also a behemoth. I'll call him Jerry. Jerry doesn't have much of a gimmick other than he's got a lot of health, hits hard, and will pretty much always focus who you're controlling. He'll also get confused sometimes and run away. Okay, dude, whatever you feel like. He's basically a health sponge, so Cole's Firestorm ability is useful to provide your squad with a damage buff as you carry him around. Jerry might look big and scary, but since he can't take out your squad all in one go, it's basically inevitable that he goes down before you do. After we take him out, we wait around a bit, and hey, it's another Jerry! Delgado is definitely the best choice to go toe-to-toe with these guys. Just bait an attack, back up, and minigun. Now that sounds like an invitation, but when we approach the exit, Vicus throws a gladiator at us. Now that is just not good blood orgy manners, I tell you what. This guy is easier than the other one since we're in a wide open area. Just hit his back, wait for him to turn around, switch to another character, and repeat. Jericho's successful defeat of Vicus's pets moves them closer to removing the insatiable governor from power. Well, hello to you too. A brief walk in the dungeon and we come across our gracious host.
Enough of this folly! Allow me to show you how to entertain these good people!
Oh, very entertaining. I just love it when a party involves opening our stomach pussies and spraying blood from our intestines everywhere. Vicus is typically immune to damage, so your first instinct might be to shoot the gladiator in the middle of the room, but he's got a metal plate over his back because I guess he's the only smart gladiator in this place. No, the goal here is to have Vicus spray his various fluids in someone's face and shoot him while he's exposed. I like to use black here and fire grenades since the reload lines up nicely with his attack pattern. And that's basically it. Just dodge the gladiator's ball and Vicus's period blood till the fat man dies.
I believe the breach is in the abyss below. There are ley lines emerging from Vicus's corpse.
Let me push the fat bastard over then.
For once, Abby gets to push something other than walls, though it's a fat, rotted, bleeding corpse, so I'm not sure she appreciates it.
There it is!
What now? Do we go through?
Where else can we go? This has to be the last level of the Pyxis. The bridge said we passed through 3 before we reached the firstborn itself. The question is, how far will the rabbit hole take us this time? I think we better go.
The original time slice where the 7 Sumerian priests held the firstborn for the first time. The origin of all, the seed of all evil.
Dear God in heaven.
It's beautiful.
Where's the rest of the city?
This is it. This is Al-Khali as it first existed. This is the beginning.
Then that must be the reason we're here.
It doesn't exactly look like the seed of all evil to me.
It's not a seed. It's a cocoon. The real evil is inside. If we can banish the cocoon, we banish the firstborn.
So what now?
We climb.
It's Leech! Look! Damn it! He's around! Hurry!
From this point forward, the only normal enemies we'll be facing are cultists, and here is the last gauntlet we face. We fight all three variants, though it's not too tough, and after a short firefight, we approach the temple.
Resupply it.
Let them hang, guys.
Jonesy!
Heal yourselves, brothers and sisters. You are welcome here.
Who's there? Show yourself!
I am Anteduranu, the founder of your brotherhood. I have waited eons to pass on my knowledge so that you may seal the wound and banish this abomination from our world.
Then you know why we're here. We've been sent to close the breach.
Yes, as were the priests of this temple. The High Priestess Ereshkigal was seduced by the Firstborn through her dreams, and taught the blood rites that opened the breach. She led an army of 10,000 across the desert from the city of Ur to build this temple.
And when the construction was complete, she slaughtered them all.
As their blood ran down the steps of the temple, the breach was opened and the Firstborn walked the earth again. But we seven had disguised ourselves amongst her army to follow her into the Pyxis.
What happened to the others?
Lost all of them. Enraged by our betrayal, Ereshkigal unleashed the power of the Firstborn to transform the others into the demons that now guard her. Only I escaped to close the breach and seal the Pyxis. I knew that my seal would not last forever, so with the last of my power, I sent a message out. I commanded my disciples to establish a sacred order to hold vigil and guard against the return of Ereshkigal and the Firstborn.
Jericho.
That is but one of the names our order has worn through the eons. Though the name may change, the sacred duty, your duty, remains the same. You must close the breach or the Firstborn will take revenge on mankind.
Tell us how.
The demons that guard the temple have each claimed a piece of me. Slay them, and reassemble me so that I can reseal the breach, and then the world will be safe again.
Until the next time.
We won't fail you. We've come too far for that.
Walking in, we come to a round room where nothing seems to happen until... all the Sumerian statues look directly at us and nothing seems to happen. We wait around long enough, though, until strange rays of light start to take members of Jericho away. Jericho has gone. Without his team, Ross is alone. If he wants to resuscitate Anteduranu, he'll have to get to the urns that hold the ashes, but first he must find a body.
Shh.
Ross.
I'm here.
God, I hate when you do that.
What follows is a short solo segment as Black. It's not too difficult as long as you can get headshots, since the cultists we come upon are always alone. And even if you're not good at headshots, Ghost Bullet can be used to both scout ahead and chain kill any enemies in our way.
Abby, can you hear me? It's Jones.
I'm almost there! Don't worry!
We find Jones caged up with no way to free him. That is, until we figure out we can switch to him, and that probably means we have to use clairvoyance. By using Jones's power on one of the tortured dudes on the wall, we can wiggle our camera around a lot trying to find the spot it wants us to look at. Eventually we find a lever and free our beautiful boy. Black and Jones are united. The urn containing Anteduranu's skin is near. That's a really hard name to say. Anyway, we immediately come across a boss fight. The gist here is we're doing battle with original members of what we know as Jericho Squad. In this case, a sorceress stands in the middle of a ring of fire, while another member is trapped in a contraption that swings around and periodically makes him bleed into the fire. For some reason, this act causes a cultist to spawn. I don't know how it works, just go with it. I find it best to be Jones for this part, letting Abby snipe from afar and healing her if a cultist gets too close. The sorceress is the easiest target, but has a lot of health. Her fireballs are pretty easy to dodge though, so it's just a matter of time before she goes down. That isn't the end of the fight, however. No, we also have to deal with the fella and the thing that's swinging around the ceiling. We can't hurt him while he's in there though, and unfortunately the only way to get him out is through using clairvoyance on some conveniently placed torture victims. During the downtime after killing a spawn cultist, we need to use Jones to see up into the ceiling and use telekinesis on the thing, which opens it up. Then we shoot the dude in it. Then we're done. Shoo! We move a bit further and are reunited with our buddies.
Miss me?
Nah.
Let's stick together this time.
Fuck you. Contact has been lost with the rest of the team. They must be located before the demons get to them. With Frank and Paul joining us, we get into a scuffle with some flyers. After, we walk down a couple of long, bloody hallways before we come across more original members of Jericho who are now demonified. This time, we have one standing atop a dais who has a shield making them invulnerable. Above that is another constrained to a contraption that makes them spill blood, this time spawning a rotted version of a gladiator. This gladiator can be shot anywhere though, or at least can be shot in the neck since it doesn't have a head. Anyway, it goes down a lot quicker than the other gladiators, but is obviously a nuisance since it'll keep spawning. What we have to do here is shoot the victims that are sprawled on these wheel things that are pumping blood into the fountain. It's a little awkward since our reticle doesn't turn red when we scroll over these guys, so it might take some players a while to figure this out. This exposes the back of the demon spawning the gladiators, making them vulnerable. Killing them causes a couple of cultists to spawn, but also kills the demon atop the fountain.
Nice of you to join us.
Reunited, and it feels so good. Another urn is released, but the beams of light return to spirit us away. Cole and Church have finally appeared. The Sumerian demons lie in wait to destroy Jericho.
Those two are Nana and Utu! They get their power from the flies!
Okay, Nana and Utu, got it. The final two demons are much more aggressive than the others. Cultists litter the battlefield, but the demons are mobile this time and will follow us. They're pretty slow and inaccurate with their attacks, but they're also invulnerable. The clue here is the flies, which are apparently originating from these sacks of people meat things. We have to endure the demons' attacks and destroy every sack of flesh hanging from the ceiling, which makes them vulnerable. I find Delgado to be the best at this. Though he's slow, his minigun tears up the fly sacks and he doesn't mind taking a hit or two. With the flies thinned and the cultists slain, we just have to focus our fire on the demons before releasing the last part of, whatever his name is.
Threat eliminated.
The resurrection ritual that has taken place so many times over thousands of years is about to begin for the last time. The survival of the species depends on the sacrifice of these 7 soldiers.
Congratulations, it's a boy.
You have succeeded in your sacred duty. Your sacrifice for mankind will never be forgotten.
What happens now?
I will bind myself to the breach. Once the gateway is closed, we will sleep until we are called on to guide our brothers and sisters once again.
Will we dream?
It is a dreamless sleep. And in joining us, you will share in the knowledge of all who have come before you, and be one with them. Our peace will only be broken when evil men again seek the firstborn. I must go now. The breach widens.
I guess this is it.
It's been a pleasure serving with you, Xavier.
Hold on to me, Frank.
Ross, can you hear me?
I'm here.
What's gonna happen to you?
I don't know. Whatever it is, gonna be much worse than this.
Are you scared?
Are you?
No.
Simone, are you okay?
I'm okay, sir.
I'm sorry I brought you into this. You deserve better. Would you like to pray with me?
I'm an atheist, sir.
I guess not then.
He's lying!
What?
I said he's lying! You believe that bullshit about a dreamless sleep? Am I the only one that's been paying attention?
Look, I understand your apprehension, but...
What about the others? The Templars? The Centurion? They're not dreaming. They're not one with the great beyond. They're losing their minds in purgatory, exactly where we're gonna find ourselves when he closes that breach. That bastard is lying through his gold fucking teeth.
What are you suggesting?
We fight. If I'm gonna die here, I'm gonna die with my hands around the throat of whatever waits on the other side.
I can't let you do that.
Don't even think it.
Stop it, both of you.
Get out of the way, Billy.
Wait, let's just think about this a minute, okay? Maybe he's right.
We have a sacred duty to perform.
Sacred duty, my balls! We've been lied to, asshole! And I'm starting to think you've been in on it the entire time.
Black, secure Delgado.
What if he's right? Something doesn't make sense.
I gave you an order.
Damn it, Paul. Would you listen to me?
I'm the ranking officer here.
No, you're not.
What the hell do you think you're doing, Ross? He's going to destroy everything. There's a whole world outside full of innocent people. You think your life isn't worth saving that?
I think he's right, Paul.
Have you lost your fucking mind?
My mind is the only thing I haven't lost today.
Betrayed, and everything you love is lost.
Everything I love is right here.
What do we do now?
We kill it.
They said he can't be killed.
Watch me.
Jericho squad, let's do this. It's your choice, Rawlings. I won't force you to follow us.
There's no turning back. In his arrogance, Frank Delgado has perhaps sealed the fate of all humanity. At the moment when the firstborn came down to Earth, he was on the other side. But can a god be killed?
Where the hell are we?
We're at the bottom of a huge chasm. Spectral analysis indicates a massive unstable energy source nearby.
Nice of you to join us.
I never was very good at following orders, holy or otherwise.
Cole, can you give me a location on that energy source?
It's moving fast and closing on us. It's going to come out of that tunnel, sir.
At last, the final pieces of the puzzle. Is this what it is to have a soul? Drawn like insects to the light of power, only to be added to my own.
Cole, scan him for weaknesses. The rest of you, let's keep him talking.
Sir!
You're not gonna find us as easy to drain as Leech.
Possibly. But anything worth having is worth fighting for. And after I've absorbed your power, I will finally have enough to break free of this prison. Now, come to me.
Sir, I believe he is going to channel our powers against us. However, if you're currently in possession of...
Silence, bitch!
Oh shit, Rawlings! Fire!
That is one of the more shocking moments I've had in a game. Cole and Jones were perhaps the most, maybe likable isn't the right word, but certainly the most relatable. Jones was friendly, and as I said before, Simone is perhaps the most tragic of the members of Jericho. Anyway, the fight with the Firstborn isn't much of a fight. If Cole's final words wasn't enough of a hint, the game flat out tells you that the Firstborn will use the power of one of the remaining squad members, which you have to counteract by using the same. The first to be exploited is Paul. Before the Firstborn drains our health, we have to use Paul's Ghost Heal on the Firstborn itself. Next is Delgado. The Firstborn will summon a Blue Ababanili, which we have to take on with the true Fire Spirit. Finally, the child will use Billy's Blood Ward to stun all our squad mates except Church. We use our own Blood Ward to finally make the Firstborn vulnerable.
I started this. Let me finish it.
Jericho! Head for the water and swim deep!
Yep, that's it. So obviously that ending was rushed like hell. A lot of the game was rushed like hell, but especially the ending. The deaths of Joan and Cole still impacted me, but the game itself is obviously unfinished. And, well, don't hold out too much hope for a sequel. We'll never know what happened to the team, what happened to Arnold and the Firstborn, what it was the Firstborn needed to be given. Well, we probably won't know anyway. Overall, Clive Barker's Jericho to me is a game with some of the most unrealized potential out there. That's not to say that some of that potential wasn't achieved, however. Even though we don't spend much time with them, the members of Jericho Squad really do grow on you, each having a unique personality and background beyond their gameplay mechanics. In a time where most shooters were just army man meets up with army men to shoot other army men, Jericho presented a diverse cast of actual characters. Okay, Ross is pretty boring, but hey, he's dead for the most of the game, give him a break. Paul I really liked. He's billed as a priest, but acts more like a soldier, but ultimately is more loyal to his own morals than scripture or orders. Abby is a bit of a stereotype, though for the time, having a lesbian character was pretty cool for the game. I like how she's mentally the strongest of the group, shown through how Ross and Cole often rely on her. I'm not sure it comes through in the videos, but she also seems attached to Jones, calling him Jonesy, and just generally being concerned about him during battle, which was a nice character interaction. Speaking of Jones, next to Ross, he's probably the next most boring character, but I did find his upbeat attitude pretty refreshing. As I said, I feel Simone had a lot of potential to be the most interesting character, though with her sudden demise and the fact that they only allude to her unique past in her bios kind of quashed that. Delgado is a dick, as I've said many times, but sometimes you just need to have a dick in the story. I think they went overboard with him in some cases, such as shooting Paul, but the story needed a hothead to push it along. I like Billy's accent, and her short interaction with Lichthammer alluded to her darker past that could have made her very interesting had it been expounded upon within the game itself. It's obvious that Clive Barker had ideas here, and you know what? The game designers did as well. Most of the squad's abilities have practical uses and are fun to use. The guns are satisfying to use, and though I hate bullet-sponged enemies, I felt the more strategic nature of the playable character's abilities made it much more tolerable. Furthermore, if you like dirty, disgusting, bloody horror visuals, this game delivers. It wasn't afraid to put in shit like Vicus opening his entrails to spray you with doo-doo blood. I respect that. So, my friends, that was Clive Barker's Jericho. In my opinion, a rough, unfinished gem of a game and a story. Thanks for playing with me.